From the outside, everything seemed perfect in Anna's life. She had loving parents, a bright future, and everything a young girl could want. But little did they know, there was a dark secret hidden behind her sweet smile. Anna had been struggling with an unusual addiction. She had developed a strange compulsion to eat soap. It started small, just a bite here and there, but soon, it became a desperate habit that was slowly ruining her. Her parents, unaware of what was happening, could never have imagined that something as harmless as soap could be so dangerous. But the question remains, why was Anna eating soap, and how long could she keep this hidden? From the very beginning, Anna's life had appeared perfect to the outside world. She was the only child of Clara and George, two well-respected members of their community. Her parents loved her deeply and did everything they could to ensure she had every opportunity to succeed. They enrolled her in the best schools, introduced her to extracurricular activities, and surrounded her with friends. Anna excelled in everything she did. Academically, she was brilliant, and socially, she was well-liked. Her parents beamed with pride at her accomplishments. She seemed like the ideal daughter, grateful, intelligent, and driven. To them, Anna was living the dream they had envisioned for her. But hidden beneath the surface, Anna's world was beginning to unravel. It started with a strange compulsion that she couldn't explain. One afternoon, while playing in the garden, Anna noticed a bar of soap sitting on the windowsill. It wasn't unusual for her mother to leave bars of soap around the house, but this one caught Anna's eye for some reason. Without thinking, she picked it up and took a small bite. The taste was unfamiliar but not unpleasant. There was something oddly satisfying about it. She shrugged it off, thinking it was a harmless curiosity, a one-time incident that would be forgotten. But the craving didn't go away. It slowly crept into her thoughts, tugging at her whenever she saw soap, whether in the bathroom, the kitchen, or even at school. She began to sneak pieces of soap when no one was looking. At first, it was a small nibble, a quick taste that no one would notice. But as time went on, the cravings intensified. She found herself hiding in corners of the house, gnawing on pieces of soap in secret. The initial sense of satisfaction she had felt began to grow into an obsession. Anna's behavior didn't go unnoticed. Her parents began to realize that bars of soap seemed to be disappearing at an alarming rate. They would buy new soaps for the house, only to find them gone within a few days. At first, they thought little of it. Perhaps it was just a quirk of Anna's. Maybe she was using more soap than usual while washing her hands, or maybe she had a strange way of using it during her baths. But soon, it became clear that the soap was disappearing faster than it should have been. Anna's mother, Clara, first noticed the strange signs when she caught Anna chewing on a bar of soap late one evening. Clara stood frozen in the doorway, unsure whether what she was seeing was real. "Anna, what are you doing?" she asked, her voice sharp with concern. Anna, caught off guard, froze for a moment. She looked at her mother, and her face flushed with embarrassment. I was just tasting it," Anna stammered, trying to explain herself. Clara's face softened slightly, but she was still perplexed. "Tasting it? Why on earth would you eat soap, Anna?" Anna quickly shrugged it off, offering a nervous laugh. "I don't know. It's nothing, really. I don't know why I did it. I guess I was just curious." She avoided her mother's gaze, feeling guilty but not entirely understanding what was happening. Clara, still unsure, didn't push the issue further, figuring it was just a harmless curiosity. She reassured herself that it was probably just a phase, something Anna would grow out of. But the compulsion didn't go away. It only grew stronger. Anna began to seek out soap wherever she could find it. She would visit the bathroom at school and take a quick bite when no one was around. At home, she would sneak soap from the kitchen or the laundry room and eat it in small, quiet increments. No one suspected anything was wrong, at least not yet. On the outside, Anna was still the perfect daughter. She did her homework, participated in school activities, and helped around the house. She was a model student and a respectful child, but inside, she was being consumed by this strange and inexplicable need to eat soap. Her behavior began to change, though it was subtle at first. She became withdrawn, avoiding her parents' questioning eyes and becoming more secretive. She stopped talking about her day as much, preferring to retreat to her room, where she could indulge her compulsion in privacy. The cracks in her once perfect life were beginning to show, but no one knew the cause. At school, Anna's teachers began to notice a decline in her overall energy. She had always been lively and full of enthusiasm, but now, she seemed lethargic and distant. Her focus in class wavered, and her academic performance, which had always been stellar, began to slip. Her friends, too, noticed the change. She no longer joined them for after-school hangouts or participated in the activities she used to love. It was as though she had retreated into herself, and no one could figure out why. But it wasn't until her mother found a hidden stash of half-chewed soap bars in Anna's bedroom that the truth finally hit. Clara, with a mixture of shock and disbelief, stood in the doorway of her daughter's room, staring at the evidence of Anna's secret habit. The realization struck her like a bolt of lightning: her daughter wasn't just playing with soap or using it in some strange way. Anna was eating it, and it was ruining her. Clara's heart sank as she processed what she had discovered. She couldn't understand why Anna would do such a thing, but it was clear that something deeper was at play. Anna's sudden disinterest in her usual activities, her increasingly withdrawn behavior, and now this, eating soap, pointed to something more serious. Clara was left to wrestle with the devastating truth: her daughter was struggling, and she had no idea how to help. In that moment, Clara realized that Anna's seemingly perfect life was far from what it appeared to be. Behind the facade of academic success and social acceptance, Anna was hiding a deep and troubling issue, one that Clara had failed to see. The weight of guilt and fear settled in, and Clara knew that her daughter needed help, and fast. But the question remained: how had things gone so far, and what could Clara do to save Anna from herself? As Anna's strange habit of eating soap continued to grow, her health started to deteriorate in subtle but alarming ways. It began with the stomach aches. At first, they were just minor, something she could brush off as indigestion or the result of stress. But the pains soon became sharper, more frequent, and impossible to ignore. She started feeling nauseous after meals and found herself losing her appetite, a drastic change from the voracious eater she had once been. The energy she once had, the kind that allowed her to excel in school and social situations, began to wane. Her skin, which had always been smooth and glowing, began to dry out, cracking and flaking in places. Anna noticed the change in her reflection when she passed a mirror. Her complexion, once vibrant, was now dull, and her eyes, which used to sparkle with life, seemed tired and dull. She had always been proud of her appearance, but now, she barely recognized herself. Her hair, too, began to thin and lose its luster. When Anna combed it, strands would fall out, leaving her with a sinking feeling in her stomach. She didn't tell her mother about these changes. She was already embarrassed by her habit of eating soap, and the idea of admitting to more physical problems seemed unbearable. She didn't know how to explain what was happening to her body, let alone how to fix it. The more she tried to ignore the changes, the worse they became. Anna's behavior became more withdrawn as well. She began spending more time alone in her room, trying to keep up appearances, but the toll was evident. She felt like she was living in a shell of herself. She still kept up with schoolwork, but the joy she once took in learning was gone. She would sit in class, her mind wandering, her body exhausted, longing for the moment when she could retreat to the privacy of her room to grab a piece of soap and soothe her discomfort. Her friends noticed the change in her, too. They commented on how pale she looked and how distant she had become. They missed the old Anna, the one who was always full of life and energy, the one who would laugh and joke around. But the new Anna was quiet, sad, and constantly avoiding social gatherings. When her friends invited her out for lunch or a movie, she always found an excuse not to go, preferring to stay home and indulge in her secret habit. She felt more comfortable hiding from the world than facing the truth of what was happening to her. It wasn't long before her mother, Clara, noticed that something was seriously wrong. The signs had been building for weeks. Anna's constant tiredness, the stomach pains, the lack of appetite, all of it was beginning to add up. Clara tried to talk to her daughter, asking if anything was wrong, but Anna always brushed her off. "I'm just tired, Mom." "It's nothing," she would say. But Clara could see through the excuses. She knew her daughter was hiding something, and the guilt began to eat away at her. Had she been too focused on Anna's academic achievements? Had she overlooked her daughter's emotional needs in favor of success and appearance? One afternoon, after Anna had been particularly quiet at the dinner table, Clara decided to confront her. She sat down beside Anna, her heart heavy with concern. "Anna," she began softly, "I've been noticing that something's been off lately. You're not yourself. You've been sick, losing your energy. Is there something you're not telling me?" Anna shifted uncomfortably in her chair, looking down at her plate. The thought of admitting the truth, the thing she had been hiding for so long, was terrifying. But Clara's gentle tone and worried gaze made her feel like she couldn't keep the secret any longer. For a moment, she stayed silent, feeling the weight of the truth pressing on her chest. I don't know what's happening, Mom," Anna whispered, her voice shaking. "I've been feeling sick. My stomach hurts all the time, and my skin is different. But there's something else. Something I don't know how to explain." Clara's concern deepened, and she reached for Anna's hand. "Whatever it is, you can tell me. I'm here for you, Anna. Please don't keep it from me." Tears welled up in Anna's eyes as she finally admitted what she had been hiding for months. "Mom, I've been eating soap. I don't know why, but I can't stop. It's like I need it to feel better, to make the pain go away. I don't know what's wrong with me." The words hung in the air, and Clara's heart broke at the admission. She had heard of strange eating habits, pica, the condition where people crave and eat non-food items, but never had she imagined that her daughter would be affected by it. Clara's mind raced as she tried to comprehend what was happening. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked softly, her voice filled with both confusion and hurt. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" Anna shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I was ashamed, Mom. I didn't want you to think I was crazy or broken. I thought I could stop on my own, but I can't. It's like this thing that I can't control. I'm scared." Clara pulled her daughter into a tight embrace, her own heart heavy with guilt. She had been so focused on Anna's success that she hadn't seen the signs that something was wrong. She had missed the emotional toll that her daughter was carrying. It wasn't just the soap that was hurting Anna, it was the pressure she had been under for years. Clara realized that she needed to do everything in her power to help Anna heal, physically and emotionally. In the days that followed, Clara sought professional help for Anna. They spoke to doctors and specialists who helped them understand pica and its psychological roots. Anna began therapy to deal with the emotional stress and anxiety that had driven her to develop this habit. It was a long road to recovery, and there were setbacks along the way, but Anna finally began to find the support she needed. She learned healthier ways to cope with her stress, and her relationship with her mother became stronger than ever before. The journey wasn't easy, but with time, Anna began to regain her health and her sense of self. She realized that her mother's love for her was stronger than any expectations or pressures. Together, they worked through the struggles, learning how to face life's challenges without resorting to harmful habits. Though the scars from the experience remained, Anna emerged from it with newfound strength, knowing that she had the courage to face her problems head-on and rebuild the life she had nearly lost. And most importantly, she knew that her mother's support and love would always be there to guide her, no matter the struggles ahead. As Anna's confession hung in the air, Clara was left to grapple with a whirlwind of emotions. She had never imagined that her daughter was struggling so deeply, and the revelation hit her like a ton of bricks. For months, she had been unaware of Anna's strange habit, thinking that her daughter was simply going through a phase. But now, with the truth exposed, Clara realized just how much she had missed. Anna's declining health, her withdrawal from social activities, and her increasing isolation were all signs that she had been silently fighting a battle alone. And Clara, as her mother, had been oblivious to it. But now, with Anna's secret out in the open, Clara was determined to do everything in her power to help her daughter. She knew that recovery would not be easy, and the road ahead would be long. But the first step was recognizing the problem and seeking help. Clara immediately began researching pica, the condition that had caused Anna's compulsive craving for soap. She discovered that pica could stem from various underlying factors, including nutritional deficiencies, emotional stress, and psychological disorders. It became clear to her that Anna's struggle was not just about the soap, it was about deeper issues that needed to be addressed. The first thing Clara did was take Anna to a doctor who specialized in eating disorders. The doctor explained that pica was often a manifestation of an emotional or psychological need that was being unmet. For Anna, this need had been triggered by years of pressure to be perfect, to meet the high expectations set by both her mother and society. The stress from school, friends, and family had been building over time, and it had finally manifested in the form of a dangerous coping mechanism, eating soap. The doctor recommended therapy for Anna to help her cope with her emotions and the underlying issues that had led to the development of pica. Anna, initially reluctant to face her feelings, agreed to attend counseling sessions. In the beginning, the sessions were difficult. Anna found it hard to open up about her feelings of inadequacy, the pressure to succeed, and the overwhelming need to meet everyone's expectations. But with time, she began to realize that she didn't have to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. She didn't have to be perfect for everyone around her, especially her mother. The pressure she had felt to excel and prove herself was a heavy burden, one that she had been carrying alone for far too long. As the weeks passed, Anna began to make small but significant changes in her life. She started to reconnect with the things she once enjoyed. Drawing, painting, and even just listening to music became a way for Anna to express herself without fear of judgments or expectation. The therapy sessions helped her process her emotions, and with each session, Anna began to understand herself better. She realized that her habit of eating soap had been a misguided attempt to deal with feelings of anxiety and self-doubt. It wasn't just about the soap, it was about finding something that could offer comfort when everything else seemed out of control. During this time, Clara also sought guidance on how to better support Anna. She realized that, for so long, she had been focused on her daughter's outward success, her grades, her social standing, her achievements. But Clara had overlooked the internal struggles that Anna was silently battling. It wasn't enough to push Anna to succeed. Clara needed to listen, to create a space where Anna could feel safe expressing herself without fear of disappointing her mother. Clara and Anna began to have more open and honest conversations. Clara apologized for the pressure she had unknowingly placed on Anna and acknowledged how her own expectations had contributed to Anna's feelings of inadequacy. Anna, in turn, learned to express her feelings of frustration, fear, and sadness. The bond between them began to strengthen as they worked together to heal. Clara realized that her love for Anna wasn't contingent on her achievements. She didn't need Anna to be perfect, she just needed her to be herself. But as Anna's recovery progressed, there were still moments of doubt and fear. There were days when she struggled to resist the urge to revert to her old habit, days when the pressures of life seemed overwhelming. During these times, she would remind herself of how far she had come, of the support she had from her mother and the progress she was making. It wasn't an easy journey, but Anna knew that recovery was possible, one step at a time. Eventually, Anna was able to stop eating soap altogether. It didn't happen overnight, and there were moments when she slipped, but she learned to cope in healthier ways. She found solace in writing, painting, and spending time with friends who understood her. She began to focus on her passion for art and discovered that it was not just a hobby, it was a way for her to communicate and process her emotions. Slowly, she began to feel like herself again. Clara, too, had learned important lessons throughout this process. She had learned that true success wasn't about achieving outward accolades or meeting societal expectations, it was about supporting her daughter in her journey toward self-discovery and inner peace. Clara realized that the love she had for Anna wasn't conditional. It was unconditional. And with this understanding, she became more patient, more understanding, and more present for Anna, offering her the emotional support she had once overlooked. By the time Anna graduated from high school, she was a different person, stronger, more confident, and more attuned to her own needs. Her relationship with Clara had healed, and they had both learned to communicate openly and honestly. Anna's recovery was a testament to the power of love, support, and understanding. It was also a reminder that no matter how perfect someone's life may seem on the outside, there are always battles being fought behind closed doors. Anna's story was not just about overcoming an unusual habit, it was about finding the strength to live authentically, to embrace her true self, and to finally break free from the pressures of others. In the end, Anna learned that she didn't need to be perfect to be loved. She was enough just as she was, and with the right support, she could overcome anything that life threw her way. And as for Clara, she had learned that the greatest gift she could give her daughter wasn't success, it was the freedom to be herself. As Anna continued her journey toward recovery, there was a new sense of hope beginning to form in her heart. The road had been long and difficult, and at times, the weight of her struggles felt unbearable, but with the support of her mother and the therapy she had started to embrace, she could finally begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The transformation wasn't immediate, but every day Anna made a conscious effort to rebuild the pieces of herself that had been lost to the compulsions she had once felt helpless against. At first, it had been hard for Anna to accept that the journey would take time. The pull of her old habits, the need to eat soap when she felt overwhelmed or anxious, was still there, lurking beneath the surface. Yet, she had learned new coping mechanisms. She had learned to express herself through art, to channel her emotions and frustrations onto the canvas instead of retreating inward. Art had become her form of therapy, her safe space. It wasn't just about creating beautiful images, it was about releasing the pent-up feelings that had long been suppressed. In those quiet moments when she sat down with a sketchbook or a paintbrush, Anna felt free. She felt in control of her own emotions, and for the first time in a long while, she felt like she was doing something for herself. Art allowed her to communicate her inner world, a world that she had kept hidden for so long. It was an outlet, a way to heal, and it became one of the most important aspects of her recovery. As she painted, she found that she could finally let go of the shame and guilt that had been tied to her secret. The compulsions began to lose their grip on her, and though there were setbacks along the way, Anna began to trust herself again. Her mother, Clara, had witnessed this change in Anna. At first, she had been unsure of how to support her daughter in her new journey. She had been so focused on academic achievements and outward success that she hadn't fully understood the importance of allowing Anna to pursue what truly made her happy. But as Anna's art flourished, Clara began to see how powerful it was for her daughter. She started attending Anna's therapy sessions, learning more about how she could support her in healthier ways. Clara recognized that her role wasn't to push Anna into a mold she had created, but to help her daughter build a future that aligned with her true self. The pressure that Clara had once unknowingly placed on Anna began to fade, replaced by a supportive love that allowed Anna to be who she was meant to be, not who her mother had once wanted her to be. During the therapy sessions, Anna gradually began to confront the deeper issues that had caused her to develop pica in the first place. She uncovered feelings of inadequacy, the pressure to meet external expectations, and the emotional numbness that had taken root after years of trying to be perfect. Therapy helped her process these emotions in a way that was safe and constructive, and slowly, Anna started to find peace with herself. She learned to let go of the need for validation from others and to recognize her own worth. The relationship between Anna and Clara began to strengthen in ways they hadn't thought possible. In the past, their conversations had often been one-sided, with Clara pushing her daughter to achieve more, to do more. But now, they spoke more openly, honestly, and with vulnerability. Clara listened to Anna's feelings, her dreams, and her struggles. She apologized for the times when she had been too focused on success and hadn't paid enough attention to Anna's emotional needs. For the first time in their lives, they were truly communicating, not just mother and daughter, but two people who were learning to understand each other. In addition to therapy, Anna also found strength in her circle of friends. At first, they hadn't known what to make of the changes they had seen in her. They knew that Anna had withdrawn, that she was no longer the bubbly and energetic friend they once had. But when Anna finally opened up to them, they stood by her in ways that made her realize just how much love and support existed in her life. Her friends encouraged her to pursue her passion for art and helped her build her confidence in ways that went beyond academic achievement. They reminded Anna that she didn't have to fit into anyone's idea of success, she could define it for herself. As the months passed, Anna's health improved. Her skin began to regain its glow, her hair grew thicker and shinier, and the stomach pains that had once plagued her faded away. The physical effects of eating soap were slowly reversing, and as her body healed, so did her mind. The self-destructive habit that had once controlled her was no longer in charge. Anna had reclaimed control over her life, and it was no longer defined by external pressures or compulsions. By the time Anna graduated from high school, she was a different person, stronger, more confident, and more in tune with her own emotions. She had embraced her love for art fully, and her plans for the future were rooted in her passion. Anna's journey had not been easy, but it had been transformative. She had learned to prioritize her mental health and emotional well-being, understanding that true happiness came from being true to herself, not from meeting the expectations of others. Clara, too, had learned valuable lessons. She had learned to let go of her old ideals of success and to embrace her daughter's individuality. The process of supporting Anna's recovery had also helped Clara realize that love wasn't about pushing her daughter toward a prescribed future, it was about helping her find her own path and trusting her to walk it. As Anna prepared to leave for art school, her mother stood beside her with tears in her eyes. Clara was proud of the woman Anna had become, and for the first time, Clara felt that she had truly given her daughter the freedom to pursue what was right for her. Their relationship had been tested, but it had come out stronger on the other side. Anna was finally walking a path that was hers and hers alone, and she was ready to embrace whatever the future held. Though the road had been difficult, Anna knew one thing for sure: the journey to healing had brought her closer to who she was meant to be. She had learned the importance of self-acceptance, and, more than anything, she had learned that true success wasn't measured by academic achievements or societal standards, it was measured by how authentically she could live her own life.